On September 10th, America witnessed one of the most shocking political killings in recent memory. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old founder of Turning Point USA and a prominent conservative activist, was shot and killed during a live campus event at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. The event was supposed to be routine for Kirk, his signature "prove me wrong" table, where he fielded questions and sparred with critics. Around 3,000 people gathered, but just 20 minutes after it began, a single shot cracked through the air. It came from a rooftop nearby. The bullet struck Kirk in the neck. Within minutes, he was dead. For the first time in decades, a political activist of national visibility was assassinated in front of a massive crowd, with cameras rolling. The images went viral within minutes, and the questions began immediately. Who fired? Why? And how did this happen in broad daylight? As of now, police and the FBI are still searching for the shooter. They released photos and video of a person of interest. Thousands of tips have poured in, but no arrest yet, which means the motive is still unknown. Was this personal hatred, political revenge, or a lone gunman with a grudge? Nobody knows, and that uncertainty is fueling a storm of speculation. But let's be clear, even without answers, this act is already political. Kirk was not a random target. He was one of the loudest voices of the American right that he built Turning Point USA into a multi-million-dollar youth organization, spreading conservative activism across college campuses. For his supporters, he was a fighter for free speech. For his critics, a polarizing propagandist. Either way, he had become a symbol, and that is why his murder matters. The immediate reaction was predictable. Donald Trump called him a patriot and promised to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. Conservative media declared Kirk a martyr. Liberal commentators, while condemning the act, warned about the spiral of political violence, and mainstream outlets were left asking, has America crossed another line? Let's pause here. Because the bigger question is not just who pulled the trigger, that it's why Kirk could be killed so easily, in front of 3,000 people, from a rooftop that should have been secured. Where were the police? Where were the security checks? In an America where mass shootings are almost routine, how was a national activist left so exposed? That failure alone demands accountability. And then there's the wider context. Political violence in America has been escalating. Assassination attempts, threats, armed standoffs. Each year the temperature rises. The killing of Kirk doesn't happen in a vacuum. It fits into a pattern where politics is no longer a debate, it's a battlefield, where guns replace words, and where activists, journalists, even judges, live under constant threat that what comes next. Several possibilities. First, the manhunt will dominate headlines. If and when the shooter is caught, the motive will shape the narrative. If it's ideological, tied to extremist groups, expect a firestorm of polarization. If it's personal, it may deflate some of the political charge. But even then, the damage is done. The precedent is set. If Kirk can be killed on stage, then no activist, left or right, can feel safe. Second, the political fallout. Republicans will push the martyr narrative, using Kirk's death as proof that conservatives are under siege. Democrats will call for restraint, while also pointing out the toxic climate Kirk himself helped fuel. Both sides will weaponize the tragedy. That's America's new normal. Third, the security question. Every campus event, every rally, every protest will now carry heavier scrutiny. More police, more barriers, more checks. Free speech in public may become even harder to exercise, ironically in the name of safety. And finally, the cultural impact. Kirk's death will radicalize some, frighten others, and polarize everyone. Already far-right influencers are calling for revenge. Already left-wing activists fear being blamed collectively. The assassination doesn't just end one man's life. It deepens America's divisions. Here is the blunt truth. The killing of Charlie Kirk is not just a crime. It is a political earthquake. It exposes how fragile American democracy really is, when disagreement can so easily turn into murder. And it forces a question that nobody in Washington seems ready to answer. How much violence can a democracy absorb before it breaks? For now, one fact remains. On a quiet campus in Utah, in front of thousands of witnesses, a single bullet silenced a national voice. And whether you loved him or hated him, that changes the story of American politics.